So let's talk about controllers a little bit, because this is something that's come up pretty much every single time I've done any post-Steam controller content, so a little bit of context. I kind of moved away from using Steam input. I love my baby boy. I love you. I still adore this controller. It has so many input options, ability to do things in ways that you weren't thinking of, like all the clicks around the trackpad. I love it. So this is not an indictment of the controller. I freaking love Steam controller. My frustration has been with Steam input. It's just always feeling a little rough around the edges, always feeling kind of buggy. So I had made a point that I was going to start using reWASD more often. Even reWASD has Steam input support, or Steam controller support, but it's not great. It's not going to replace using the Steam controller with Steam input, clearly, because Steam input exists to service the Steam controller. That's where it started. So just getting that out of the way a little bit. I still love the Steam controller. I was just branching out using some other things. But people keep asking me, what controller am I using? My current favorite is, doesn't have a trackpad, but we don't have any options for that. So my current favorite is this Flydigi Vader 2. And I can explain in 11 reasons. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you have 9 extra button options for binding, and you have analog triggers, as well as a gyro, which is kind of the only controller that has that many options that I'm aware of that you can all independently, uniquely remap in reWASD. That's the thing too, is that in reWASD, these Flydigi controllers are supported for unique mapping. So I can have extra things on this C. The lighting's a little screwy. And you have 2 extra C and Z buttons. That kind of harkens back to the old original Xbox black and white. I remember those. I want those like up here, I think. But yeah, you got 2 extra buttons there. All these 3 buttons can all be remapped in reWASD. I think the only limitation is you on this plus, because that is technically the pairing button. You don't want to put anything on a long press for that. But still, like that in Star Citizen, this works great. I have like Mobi-Glass, I think. I can't even remember, like emote options or something. Like it adds a lot of extra functionality. These back buttons look a little screwy, but once you start using them, they feel pretty good. These ones particularly, those feel fine. It's these inner ones that are a little awkward. But I mainly would put like priority action, jump, crouch, and then like inventory things or run toggle or something. So as I'm using it, I'm hitting those with my middle finger. Middle finger is easily clicking on those, and then I just reach it over and kind of have to do that little weird boot. But they have that angle on them, so it's pretty easy to hit. And this has a pretty good battery life. I think I'm getting like 30 hours. I know they do have a pro version of this one that is a better battery life. It's just the input options in reWASD that I can go through with this, with all these extra buttons, plus I still get the analog range, which that really is a big deal for me. I know a lot of people, they can do without analog triggers, but I play a lot of vehicle games, simulation style games, like something in Star Citizen. I'm gonna want those analog triggers for mining, salvage coming up, vehicle throttle, things like that. But the one thing just to note on this is it does have this little, like, I guess they call this the palm ring, which is supposed to, help with the, you don't get wear and tear around that edge. Though, I'm sure eventually you're still going to get drift. These aren't Hall effect sensors. This isn't a top-tier controller. It just has a lot of options. This is the mobile bracket thing, like for using these. That's seems like sort of their angle is using for a lot of mobile controllers. So, and with that, little more context, like I originally had gotten this little pupper. This, like, you get these extra sticks in there too, different lengths. But this is the Flydigi Apex 2. So this was the first one, and this was actually the one that that put me on my Steam input detox of flushing Steam input from my system. I'll get that little hair out of there. And I was using reWASD and playing a lot of Elden Ring when I was in New Jersey for a work assignment. But this one has even more button options. And, well, first, okay, the reason, my only grumble with this one is these are just micro switches, which is great, but no analog range. So you have no analog for the triggers. But it works great for like shooters and such. And with this one, you get these extra little buttons there. So yeah, this one's just got like input options out the wazoo. So you have these extra buttons, which was really nice. Like in Elden Ring, I was using this I think I was using it for like right hand weapon switch, left hand weapon switch, hold either for switching that arm to the two-handed stance. That worked effing great. And then this one also has, these are all micro switches too. It's like that real responsive mouse click. But the unique thing on this one is you get this, I think they call it the action wheel. I like to call it the action puck. But yeah, this can be bound to D-pad directions. It can be a full analog range. I mean, obviously your travel distance is a little tight, but you know, for certain things it works really good. That was another in Elden Ring. I think I was doing the pouch. I think like hold, maybe it was Y. Y was a pouch, right? So you'd hold that and then, you know, up, and then the D-pad for your pouch selections. That worked really nice. The one thing, just like with comparing the two of these, is I did notice this seems to require a slightly larger dead zone. And I know someone else had this controller and they were using my profile that I've been working on for Star Citizen with this guy. And when they used it, they also had to up the dead zone. So I think it's something with this controller. It just has the default dead zone on this is just a little bit larger. The sticks aren't quite as tight and responsive, which maybe has something to do with them being removable? I don't know. And it's not a deal breaker, but that is definitely something that I would want to mention, that, you know, this one seemed like on default out of the box, I could go with a lower dead zone. This one required a larger dead zone. And I would put that as a mark against this one, because this is more of like the top tier, fancier version. But then again, they do kind of market this as like a mobile, you know, like do your spells and then the direction. And this one came with the mobile bracket. I don't even know where the hell that thing is right now though. But this was what started me down the Flydigi path. And then I got this one. And this is what I'm using pretty much as my daily driver now, because this can do basically everything I need it to do. You are limited in reWASD on the gyro. It's just like an XY, you know, yaw, pitch, mouse, or the equivalent of like the mouse joystick from Steam Input. If I want to do like tilting analog steering, I need to use the Flydigi app. The controller can do that, just you can't do it in reWASD. That's really the only mark against it though. I mean, aside from you know, there not being a controller that has friggin' trackpads. Gee, I just turned into McMurray there. Hey there, Rain, how you doing? Here we got a trackpad controller. I love you, my baby boy. But it's not the controller. It's the software driving the controller. And I'm not enjoying Steam Input lately. I'm not liking the new layout. As we're chatting, I do have a Steam Deck now. I like these. I like the Touch Protect grip covers. Those are pretty cool. But yeah, so I did finally get a Steam Deck. That was also because I've been traveling for work, and it's, you know, it's nice, it's convenient to have. But boy, I do not enjoy using Steam Input anymore. The new layout just kind of feels like a chore to do anything. Little context to why I'm using this. I still really want a trackpad-focused controller, but I'm very frustrated with Steam Input over the last, 6 months. For instance, using this guy with reWASD, Star Citizen, seamless. I don't have to do anything. It just works. If anyone is familiar with me and Star Citizen and the Steam controller, you would know I have years of troubleshooting just trying to get the freaking Steam overlay to work with Star Citizen, which, I'm not necessarily blaming Valve for that. I mean, it's the Steam controller, you gotta use it with Steam, which is a blessing and a curse. It's really frustrating using it for non-Steam things from time to time. You know, that was the impetus for me to branch out and start using some other things. I'm very happy with this guy. This one wasn't terribly expensive, and they actually do have a new one. They have the Direwolf, which looks very similar to this, but doesn't have these 2 extra buttons. I think there's just 2 buttons here, and it only has these outer grips, so you are losing, you're losing input options, but it has some kind of fancy like Hall effect linear triggers, or I don't even know what that would do necessarily for the trigger. And it has some sort of like hybrid D-pad thing. It's like a raised disc. It looks interesting to me. The main reason though I'm curious about that one is it has supposedly has a better gyro in it, so I'm hoping that reWASD would fully support all the gyro functionality of that one. And they also have a new Apex. This is the Apex 2. They have the Apex 3, which, I mean, as long as we're talking controllers here, I don't have that one. It is sort of their version of a DualSense. It has the adaptive trigger functionality in it, and it has like an LCD screen instead of a touch. I don't think it can be remapped as a touch screen. I'm not terribly interested in any, well, I mean, so talking controllers, this was also, you know, trying to branch out, try something different. I picked this up. It's a great controller. I was really trying to push it to get it working with Star Citizen. I'm frustrated with the lack of input options. I need more, and the freaking battery life. No, Sony, you guys need to get your shit together with batteries. This is by far the worst battery of any controller that I have owned. Only exception would be the DualSense 4. I think my DualSense 4 ended up holding about a 25 to 30 minute charge at the end. Yeah, I don't know, their battery life is just terrible. Oof, like that DualSense Edge. Sure, it's going to be nice to have back buttons, but if it's the same battery as this, that is a hard sell for me. I don't know about that. Little chat about controllers, and just to address, just to show you this one, because people do keep asking me what I'm using, and I think it's because this is like what the hell is this? What? I don't think they're a terribly well-known gaming company, at least not in North America. I'm digging. I mean, I like what they're doing. They're pretty cool controllers, and I am curious about that Direwolf. So, and even the Apex 3. You know, so hey, Flydigi, if you want to send me a review unit, hell yeah, I'll review that. But so that's pretty much all I got. Just a little chat here about some controllers and some rambling about what I've been up to. So that's all I got. I will see you around.